What's going on, everyone? Anthony here with AC Toys, and welcome back to another video. So in this video, obviously, we are finally reviewing the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Remastered Mighty Morphin Blue Ranger. Now, I know everybody and their mom overseas at least has already reviewed this figure, or anybody in the US, they paid that extra price point. But anyways, my order from BBTS finally came in. I got the notification of shipment on like the 11th, and it finally came in today, which is what's today? Today is the 18th. Obviously, you guys are probably seeing this on the 19th, which also means that the new Power Rangers special is out on Netflix. So if you guys haven't checked that out yet, go ahead and check it out. I'm pretty sure Future Me has already seen it. But anyways, here it is, the remastered box of the windowless packaging. As we all are probably aware by now, Hasbro has made a public announcement that they are finally going back to the window packaging. But that's starting 2024. Anyways, here we have a 3D rendering of the figure right here in front. Some artwork of the Blue Ranger right there on the side. The 30th anniversary logo right there at the top. Artwork of all the Rangers right there. 30th anniversary logo. More 3D rendering of the figures on the back. According to the box, he's 6.1 inches tall, or 15 centimeters. He also comes with a plethora of accessories, which is why this is in the $35 price point. You have the Blue Ranger artwork here on the side. Legalese at the bottom. Barcode, if you guys want to try and maybe find this at your local GameStop, but if not, BBTS does currently have this in stock at the time of this recording, which does unfortunately mean it probably will go on sale eventually. So if you guys can hold off just a little bit, I'm pretty sure that it's going to be like down to like $24 in no time. But anyways, let's go and crack this guy open and hope everything's okay. All right, and here we have the figure out of packaging, and just right off the bat, looking at mine straight away, he doesn't seem to have any major paint flaws. But before we get into him, what do you say we go ahead and take a look at all his accessories, because he does come with quite a bit. So first and foremost, his lightning effects that he comes with are these two kind of like, I don't know, like wraparounds. Let me go ahead and zoom the camera out just a tad bit. Maybe a little bit more. Anyways, so whenever he's in his little morphing pose, you can just kind of like place these around him to kind of give it that effect, that whoosh effect, or rather, I mean, I don't know. I get the idea in theory. Let me turn down the brightness a bit. Maybe you guys see it a little bit better. I get the idea in theory, but it's not tall enough in my opinion. I wish it would have went to like maybe right around here, or at least like the back version. Oh, sorry. Just around the back would make it a little bit more, I don't know, worth the price point. But overall, not bad idea, just poor execution. And then he comes with his little daggers in separate mode. They do have the ports. Obviously, you can, or not the ports, but the holes for the blasters whenever you want to combine these into the power blaster, which if you guys are unaware, yes, all of the MMPR power weapons do combine. But if you don't want him to hold it in those singles, he does come with a lance. So that's pretty cool. So don't be afraid if you guys didn't see this in the accessory pack. It actually was packed in with him. So yeah, it is there, just not with the rest of the accessories. Then you have his glasses, which let me go ahead and zoom back in now, which is very nice. So it does look like it's designed that where it kind of wraps around his ear, and there is a bit of an indent in his hair sculpt. So I guess if you didn't want him with the glasses, you can have him from season 3. If not, just go ahead and put these on. They don't really port in, but they do sit in there really snug. And honestly, guys, this by far is the best head sculpt I've seen out of this entire line. If that doesn't look like Billy Cranston, I don't know what does to you guys. But yeah, looks fantastic. And then the next one right here, oops, is his helmet sculpt. And this is obviously the updated helmet that we got with like the Metallic Ranger. So it's a lot more screen accurate. You definitely have like the thinner visor, better paint applications all around. And if you guys want to see that, just go ahead and pop this off. Sorry guys, it's been quite a while since I reviewed a video, so I'm just kind of getting back into the swing of things. There you go, and that is how he looks with the helmet on. So yeah, really great looking helmet sculpt, but obviously I think I'm going to be displaying it with the civilian head, because by far This is the best civilian head sculpt I've seen in this line, as I already mentioned. But anyways, set that to the side. He also comes with 3 versions of the Power Blaster. He comes with his holstered version, finally. These Rangers are finally getting him, so you just port it into there. He also comes with his blaster mode. Now, this is the newer sculpt of the blaster, where it has the peg in the middle that we saw with the, I think, Color Swap 2-pack is when we first saw it. Maybe it was with Adam. I could be mistaken. But anyways, if you have any of those extra blast effects, you just kind of port that in there and makes it look like it's blasting. And then last but not least, you have it in his dagger mode. And this is done with a very nice metallic silver at the edge. So that's a nice little touch right there. And then you have a whole bunch of different hand sculpts. You have his 2 weapon holding hands on him out of factory. You have, let's see here, 2 closed-fisted hands. Very nice. And then you have his morphing hand, which I also put the morpher accessory on. So this is a separate piece. I just went ahead and put it on to make sure I didn't lose it during the review because it is quite small. And then it kind of has this palm holding open hand. So it gives you that whole it's morphing time pose. So yeah, let me go ahead and pull that off. Show you how that looks. So one thing when I first saw these being announced that it had these was I thought it was a really cool concept. But the problem is they're already in their suit, right? So I can't see a reason why they would be morphing already like so, unless you're just looking for that like mid-transformation pose. And I'm not going to spend time trying to pose the hands just quite so. But you guys get the idea, the concept. I'm pretty sure if you mess around with it, with the butterfly joints, you can get them posing just right. But you guys get what I mean, right? Like, what's the point of having this like pose when he's already in his suit? Why not just give these to like civilians figures if they ever finally came out with them? But anyways, I digress. It's a really cool feature. It's a very well sculpted and very well painted morpher. If you were to just zoom in a little bit. So the Triceratops coin in there is very nicely detailed. The really cool blue lightning effect going on in the background, that's really nice. Overall, it's a really good piece, so I'm not mad about it. It's just a little strange to me of why they would have included it with this. But anyways, there you go. It's more for time. So let's go ahead and take a look at the details of this figure. So going ahead and looking at all the details of this figure, obviously paint applications are for the most part exactly the same as the original release. The main overall like noticeable change is that it is using the new pinless body mold, which quite frankly, I am surprised I have no issues with. His legs are rather stiff, so there's no looseness anywhere. There is no major paint flaws going on with mine. It does have the correct paint apps of the black outlining right here on the belt, which is very show accurate. Same thing with the holster here. The coin and the morpher itself are done very nicely. It's very clear that that is the Triceratops. Little bit of a paint shift going on right there. As you can tell, it looks like it was shifted down just a little bit right off the line because like the part, see, it's hard to point at it. But if you look right there, it's supposed to be black, but it's silver. So it looks like everything was like just kind of shifted down just a tiny bit, but overall not too bad. Once again, the head sculpt is done very nicely. One thing that I wish they would have done, but isn't too big of a deal, but if you're paying $35 for this figure for better paint, more accurate paint at least, they could have at least painted the bottom of the boots. They've only so far done this with 2 Rangers, if I'm not mistaken, Zeo Pink and Dino Charge Red. So I'm not sure why those are the only 2 that have had the bottom of their boots painted black, short of them being, you know, like a black Ranger or black boots. But in the show, they are black at the bottom of the soles, but you're never going to see it, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that would have been the one thing to like really push us over the edge. That is something that SH Figure Arts did, that, you know, I mean, granted, those are around $20 more. At this day and age, it'd probably be like $30 more. Overall, not too bad. All my paint applications is done very nicely. So yeah, you really can't argue. I mean, it is kind of high on the price point. It is a hard pill to swallow to get people to buy this figure again if they already had the original, just for like a better head sculpt. Which, in all honesty, the original one wasn't too bad. It just wasn't as accurate as this one is. But yeah, not too bad. Let's go ahead and move into Articulation. So moving into Articulation, he has all the standard Power Rangers Lightning Collection from the new pinless body. He can look up. He can look... yeah, just like it. He can look down a little bit. The neck peg is a little bit better than most, but overall not too bad. Can move side to side, full 360 if need be. Shoulders go out about that far. Forward about that far with the butterfly. Back an okay amount. It does seem to be hindered by something. They don't go back as much as they normally do. Obviously, you have the upper bicep swivel. You have double jointed pinless elbows. Wrist rotation, full 360, depending on the hand, in and out or up and down. Upper torso. Lower ab crunch. Nice click right there. So you have the ball jointed hips. It'll go that far without pulling them down. You pull them down, and then he can do the full splits on this side, but the holster is still hindering this side a bit. So that is a bit unfortunate. If you kind of move it out of the way, but then you risk just kind of like ripping or bending that. Upper thigh swivel, full 360, double jointed pinless knees, boot cuff swivel, ankle rockers up, down, forward, left, right, and yeah, there you go. Very articulated. It is kind of a bummer that this does hinder the splits a little bit, but it is Billy, so he isn't known for doing the splits that often. But overall, still a very great figure. So yeah, those are the details of the figure. Let's go ahead and move on to size comparisons. Okay, so honestly, I think it is only fair to go ahead and compare this with the original MMPR Blue release, because there is just really no other reason to compare this with any of the other Rangers. This gives you an idea of how he goes with the male bodies, and then once I get Trini in, I'll go ahead and compare those two. But overall, as you can see here, this figure is, in my opinion, leaps and bounds above this figure. This was a great version of him for the time, but with him not being able to do the splits very well because it doesn't have the drop down hips. Pinless on this suit doesn't really bother me too much because like the pins are all blue on here, so it doesn't really affect it that much. But the number one seller for me obviously is the head sculpt. This is, while this is still very good, this is leaps and bounds ahead of this one. And then you could tell the details of the paint on the Power Morpher is clearly much, much better on the remastered figure. So basically what you're paying for is you're paying the extra, give or take $10 for more paint applications. Is that fair? I mean, I guess so, seeing as how they were never doing it before. It would be one thing if they were doing it before, taking it away and then bringing it back finally, but charging us more. But since they never actually gave us any of those paint details, it was never that big of a deal. I don't know if mine have been yellowing over the years. They really don't see any sunlight. So I don't know if this was just always the off shade of white that they came in, but the white on this is much more vibrant. The blue is much more blue. This is a darker blue, but this one just seems a little bit more screen accurate. And then obviously you have the original helmet here versus the newer helmet with the much skinnier visor, much more pronounced horn. Overall, I think it is a great figure. Is it worth the extra $10? In my opinion, yeah, it's actually not too bad. Obviously, anywhere near level of details in this paint articulation with this well done of a head sculpt, you're obviously going into like SH Figure territory, which no longer has the license to Power Rangers. I think they still have like the Super Sentai, but you're never actually going to see Power Ranger likenesses or head sculpts in that line unless Hasbro gives it to them. But anyways, this is in stock on BBTS and Hasbro Pulse as of the time of this recording. If you guys want your own, if not, I do suggest you maybe tend to wait a little bit. I know they just announced the rest of the team and the remastered figure, and a lot of people are looking forward to those. But if it's still in stock as of this point in time, it's always safe to say it's going to go on sale. But I digress. That is up to you. I'm not telling you to wait. I'm not telling you to buy it now. That is all entirely up to you. Me, obviously, I had to buy it to review it. So obviously, it has been a minute since I've done this, so my mind is all over the place. I'm not used to the concept. I've been focusing on my other channel as of lately, so I don't have to do as much talking as I do right now. But anyways, guys, thank you for continuously watching, and until next time, later.